All right, so here we are. Today's my birthday. Today I'm 39, and today I brought my husband on to ask me a bunch of questions. Hi, babe. How's it going?
Hi,
Hi.
doing good. How are you? Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
How's it feel? 39.
Uh, 39. Actually, to be very honest, 39 is the best year I've had so far. Like, just feels really, really good. Of day one of 39.
Wait. So you're saying that today already is the best day you've ever had?
One up.
Or you're saying the last year of your life was the
Uh,
best year you've ever had?
No, that's a great question. I'm saying it's a great start to a 39th year. So, what do I mean by that? I was sharing with you at dinner tonight, like today, looking back at my years of life, the most confident, on purpose, present, loving mom and wife that I've ever been. So, very happy with who I am today at 39. Where most
Oh.
people, this is my experience, most people are complaining that they're getting old. I'm actually sitting here going, I'm just getting better and better as I get wiser and older in age.
So what is your purpose then? You said you're on purpose. What's your purpose?
Ah, I have a lot of, so here's what I've learned. It's not one thing to be on purpose. And my belief, and I know I got stuck in this place and most likely you as well, that it had to be one thing to be on purpose. And when I look at, okay, what is Krystal's purpose? To inspire and to show people what's possible. That's the best way to sum it up.
Okay.
And it's in a lot of different areas of life as well.
So you've
Does that
done
answer
that in
your
the
question?
past. You've done that in the past, and at one time of your life that looked like being a volleyball coach. At one part of your life that looked like being the setter and captain for UCLA women's volleyball team. So like me and you are very similar because we get very excited about things, and then we kind of transition. So where are you at now? Like what is the thing that you want to inspire people around?
It's a great question. That's a long, deep question. Uh, hopefully, we have some time. No, I'm just kidding. Um, you know what? Here, I'll say it like this: what I have found to be true, especially in the last year and a half from selling our business, our gym, and being in a place of curiosity. And what's the other word I want to say? Like asking God, Spirit, Universe to show me what is the true purpose so that I'm in alignment in my life. And here's what I found that people are so hurt. And let me back up. In my experience, people blame things outside of themselves. So blaming not having enough money to not go for their dreams, blaming being overweight because they've had kids. So blaming things outside of themselves versus looking within. And people are in a lot of pain. Oh, 1 second. You can take that, honey. We got a kid that came in. People are in a lot of pain around money, and that affects a lot of different things. Like you and I've been talking each morning about money and our relationship with money. And I think on a deeper level, looking at relationships, especially husbands and wives or partners, the two people who are running the home. So when you talk about what is my purpose, I've always inspired people. I know that. I've always shown people what's possible. And now what I'm most passionate about and makes me cry and it feels so in alignment is actually talking to people about money, their relationship with money, and their relationship with themselves and their partners.
So the topic of money, right, is like this taboo kind of thing. You don't ask somebody how much money they make, right? You don't ask somebody how much their monthly car payment is, right? You don't you just don't, it's kind of like this unspoken thing. So are you wanting to kind of just like bring those conversations to the forefront, or are you wanting to make money a less taboo topic, or or maybe it's both, maybe, or you want to also heal people's relationships with money.
The first thing, it's not about me talking about something taboo. I think that's just a story people have,
Sure.
that it is taboo to talk about money because money is the root of all evil. It's about healing your relationship with money and not being a victim to money. So, and you can put that in multiple places in your life. Like, I was a victim to you for years, saying that like I kept telling myself I'm in the Curtis Jackson shadow. Well, that was me being a victim and blaming you versus me being in responsibility. But going back to your question, because I digressed as always.
Well, I think it's important because you keep going back to kind of the same thing. What I'm hearing is that you're not okay with people blaming their shit on external circumstances. And money is definitely something where, oh, I lost my job, or, I didn't get, whatever. And my boss is a dick and didn't give me the raise, and that's why I can't, blah, 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 blah. So what's really
Yes.
shining through in your answers is you're not buying people's bullshit.
No. And let me just back up. I mean, I married you, honey. I love you. You were the king of bullshitting.
My dad is the king. I'm the prince.
Actually, that's true. That's true. Jack, oh my gosh, he'll be so happy. I was just talking to your parents right before this, and your dad's like, "What? You want to interview me?" And I was like, "No, I don't want to interview you, but maybe one day. Maybe one day." Your dad, yes, is the king of all bullshitters. Um, but I want to bring actually forward for people to hear, because I chose to buy into everybody's story and be the person that they could come and cry to, right? Because I would comfort someone in their story if they don't have this, they don't have that, whatever the circumstance is. What I've learned through the years, and so grateful now more than ever, like calling people forward with their stories. And that's really a passion of mine, because I used to want everybody to love me. And we talked about this even at dinner, being honest was not the way that I was taught, if that makes sense. Like I was taught, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Right.
Sure.
So I
A
was
lot of
taught
people
to
are
like,
taught that.
yeah. And that's actually bullshit. In our family, we were talking to our kids about this the other day, that we are going to be brutally honest with the boys, because, and Ryan, when she gets older, or as she grows up, I should say it like that, we're going to be brutally honest because we love them, because we want them to have honest feedback so that they knows what's working and not working in their life versus sugarcoating everything. So,
Well, I mean,
to
you're
go.
good at it. I hear, you on your coaching calls. I'm in like the other room and I'll hear you like calling somebody, forward, calling them out, whatever the language you want to use, and I mean, I hear you do that all day. So it makes sense.
Oh man, the other day I had in front of a group of people, I said this one, I'm like, stop blaming your shit on money. I was like, just stop right now.
So
Like,
like
make.
you do coaching calls all day. I hear you. You do coaching calls and you're talking to people. So what would you say is the most common, some of the most common things that are holding people back, like the biggest stories that are getting in the way of them having what they want in their life?
So that's a really, really good question. And I hope someone gets triggered by this
Right,
answer,
right.
and you can hear our daughter just came in. So perfect.
Okay,
Um,
go in the other room. Go take that in the other room, baby. Go take that in the other room. Thank you, Slater. Can you grab her, please? Sure. Sure. We can edit this part out, hopefully.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Come on, right. Don't drag her. Nah, probably not drag her. Maybe enroll her into walking or holding hands or something like that.
Cream? Ice cream?
Can you make it quicker, bud? There you go. There you go. Yay. Bye bye, bye bye.
Bye.
Can you close the door, please?
Yeah.
Thanks, dude.
Close it.
So cute.
All right.
So cute. Okay, so that's a really, really good question, because I hope I trigger someone with my answer right now, because someone's going to get in their shit with this answer. It's going to be awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So everybody, not everybody, I don't want to generalize. I would say 99% of people come to me and their resistance and objection is either, Krystal, I don't have the time, or I don't have the money, and fill in the blank. It doesn't matter actually what is the next step. It's, I don't have the time or the money to create my own business, to lose the weight, to go for my dreams, right? So those are the two most, like 99% of the time, it's either time or money. But here's what people are not clear about is that that is a topical objection. They are saying time or money, and there's something underneath that. So does that make sense?
Yeah. Now I'm curious what's underneath it.
Yeah. This is so fun. So this is like, I created this with a woman the other day. Like, she was trying to give me a time objection. And here's the cool part. I don't have a time objection anymore. When I did, it was so easy. I could believe her story. Or when I had a money objection that we could not afford it, which we cut that shit out years ago, I could believe that person's story. So I want people to hear that once you overcome whatever resistance someone is giving you, it's so much easier not to buy their bullshit. It's just so much easier. So most people will say, I don't have the time, or I don't have the money. And here's the question when anybody ever says that to you, okay, I got it. Now, if you had all the time and all the money in the world, what's the bigger thing getting in the way for you? And it's typically this. Number one, I don't know if I can do this. Or number two, I don't believe in myself to actually do it. Like, they just don't believe in themselves. So that's why, like, I get fired up about this, because I hear people all the time just say, like, they're blaming money. And I have this, I hear it and I get like this feeling inside my body. And I have for some reason, this has been given to me, that like standing up for money, like here on my desk, right? Here's
So
$100 bill.
you actually have a purpose. You're not having it that people are blaming money. You're tired of money being blamed, and you're sticking up for money. You're
Yeah.
okay. So what is, if someone's getting triggered right now, what's that mean? If someone's
Well,
hearing you say this and they're kind of getting like, yeah, well, this bitch doesn't know my schedule, right? Or whatever, or this bitch doesn't know what I've been through the last year. I don't have the money. I don't have the time, whatever. Like, what is that? Like, what does that person get to, what's that saying about that person? And, or, like, what is it? What do they get to look at within themselves if someone is listening to this and currently getting triggered?
well, first, if you're getting triggered, know that I've been there, and I most likely, and I actually have a loving heart and compassion for you as you are getting triggered. And if you can see that the trigger is actually the most beautiful gift, then you can receive that gift. So in life, I get triggered every day. Something you said the other day triggered something within me. And when I get triggered, I look at that as an opportunity of like, that's still a place that I'm giving my power away to something outside of me. That is something that I get to look at and heal. That's something that, you brought up, or you said something and it triggered something within me that I said, hey, we get to talk about that at a later time, because our kids were in the car. Right. So I'm looking at here. So if whoever's hearing this, if this makes sense, if it's something within me, I get to handle it. I get to heal it. I get to recreate the story so it's something different. If it's something outside of me, like, I can never change you, Curtis. Never. Like, I don't care what any wife or partner says that I can train my spouse. That's not true. And I'm not here to do that. I'm here to be 100% in alignment with myself and my soul's purpose and heal my shit, right? So that I can be the best version of me and inspire you. So the person who's triggered, if you are, like, love yourself up. be in gratitude for the trigger. Like if I'm annoying you right now, awesome.
So the trigger is showing you where you, I mean, essentially have an opportunity like to heal something, an opportunity to, it's just showing you where you still have like work to do on yourself,
Growth.
essentially.
Yes. And if you're sitting there and you're like, no, like you brought up, like, no, you don't know my circumstance. I don't really care what your circumstance is.
I've heard you tell people that. How
Yeah.
do you tell somebody that and they stay on the phone?
I don't know why they stay on the phone, but probably because here, I'll tell you why. I know because what I create in a conversation with someone is trust right away. I know I can get on the phone and create trust in the first 2 minutes. I can connect with that person. And by asking them questions, I'm actually creating trust with them and they feel heard by me. So then when I am able and I ask for permission to give them honest feedback, so that's the other key here, is I'm actually asking for permission of, hey, are you open to me coaching you? Oh my gosh, yes, Krystal, coach me, right? So they're actually coachable. I've actually never had anybody say no to me with that question. Because if they're going to get on the phone, they want to get coached, hopefully. So then I'm just honest with them. And it's not like I'm malicious, Curtis. I mean, you hear me. It's not like I'm mean. And it's like I'm coming from a place of love. And I'm always actually, it's really cool when I do this process. I'm actually saying to them, I don't know if anybody's ever been this honest with you, and I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, that's,
like, I don't care what your circumstance is.
Well, right now you might have somebody listening that's like, okay, they've got that friend, that is always bitching and moaning about something, the Debbie Downer, the victim that is always complaining about something and blaming whatever. And they're like, oh, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that with so-and-so, but I think it's good that you're clear about there's a way to do this with grace and a way to do this that's effective without that person, So if you had to give somebody like the template, and you've been coaching for, I don't even know how many years. You're 39 today. I mean, you've been coaching for almost 20 years.
Probably. Sorry, I interrupted you. Sorry.
It's your podcast. Interrupt me as much as you want, sweetheart.
Okay. So I can remember the first time I ever coached, I was in 8th grade and I was coaching our 6th grade volleyball team. So what is 8th grade?
And
14?
Were you telling them like, hey, I don't want to hear your bullshit stories.
Oh, no.
No, I'm just kidding.
No way. I was so
Take your 6th grade shit stories out of here.
No,
stop blaming
the biggest
the blacktop for your bruises.
No. What I want people to know though is I've been the biggest people pleaser my entire life. Like that comment I told you. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's what I was ingrained in my brain at a young age. So I people please and tiptoed around in parts of my life. Not all of them.
Why doesn't that work? Why should the phrase, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all? Why should that phrase be banned from our, our culture, our parenting wisdom, that gets just passed down from person to person, parent to grandparent to parent, whatever, why do we need to get rid of that?
Thank you for asking that question. I want to create a list just from you saying that of like the shit you don't say to your kids, right?
Okay.
The shit you don't say to your kids. Number 1, that you're an oops kid. Don't ever fucking say that to any of your kids that you were an oops. Okay. Going back to your question though. Why would you never say that to someone? Why would you not have them say that? Because
and why would we wipe it? Why should we wipe that phrase out completely?
Because you're actually teaching whoever to be inauthentic. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. You're teaching someone to be inauthentic. Your family is the most authentic family that gives each other honest, brutal
My family?
feedback. Yeah,
Yeah, they're pretty good at it.
they're so good at it. And it was actually hard for me when we first got married. I was just like, what is going on? Who's this? Like your dad? He was, it was such a different dynamic than my family, and no disrespect to my family. It was just a totally different dynamic. But going back, it's telling someone to just keep their mouth shut. Do you know what I'm saying? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. It's just telling someone to shut up unless you want to, hey, you look amazing today. Like how many times do someone say, oh my gosh, you look amazing today? And maybe they're actually like, gosh, why would she ever wear that outfit? It's inauthentic.
I see. Yeah, I mean, you're essentially creating a society of ass kissers,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. You know, my mom.
Yeah.
I think I've told you this. My mom would always ask me how her clothes looked. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, 9, 10, 11. She'd always ask me how her outfit looked because she knew I'd be like, no, whatever. I don't know what my critique would be, but I would tell her the
Yeah.
truth. And that I remember when we got married, you kind of had like a little bit of a tough time with it because I grew up where when something comes up, you just kind of handle it right then. And not to say my family was perfect, that we talked about everything, certainly not. But we did a pretty good job of just like handling stuff before it becomes big. We didn't really stuff a lot down. We would talk about it. And so when we first got married, you kind of felt like I was nitpicking you because I would bring
Oh
stuff
yeah.
up like routine a lot, and I would just say, hey, this doesn't, whatever, it's not working, this, that, and you're like, dang, like I just feel like I can't do anything right. I'm like, look, hey, I just, I don't want anything to sit inside me and just like grow big like a tumor, or what have you. And that was tough for you to now. Obviously it's a way of life for both of us, but I remember that was difficult for you.
That was very difficult because yeah, I created the story. So going within me, right? I blamed you and I created a story that I wasn't good enough for you because I always got in trouble, right? I never got in trouble, but that's how I heard it,
Mm.
you know? So it's really interesting because now it's like, yes, I could ignore you, I pull away from you, right? And I still do every once in a while. Yes, I know I'm not perfect. And more than ever, we handle things right away, even when it's uncomfortable, you know? But one thing I wanted to say about, if you don't have anything nice to say, going back to there real quick, and don't say anything at all. And you asked about people pleasing. What that caused for me was, someone would actually ask, like, hey, what do you think of this? And I would say something and not be honest because I wanted to make sure they liked me. I didn't want to be honest and say, oh, I don't really like it, and
Mm.
have a fear that that they wouldn't like me. Uh-oh. Are you still there?
I'm still here. I
Okay,
can hear
my
you.
screen's frozen. That's okay. I had a fear that if I was honest with them, that then they would be mad at me or not like me.
Mm.
And I
You
know
know,
I'm not the only person who's ever felt that.
I've heard that called someone like that is an approval suck.
Oh, I was a huge approval suck forever. And I can laugh at it now and I can see it so easily. And it actually is really easy to coach someone through that as well. When you're looking outside of your own self for validation. And I remember hearing this of, you're the only person to determine your worth, right? So I remember you telling me this actually, Curtis, because you learned it from Lynn, was you said, like, Lynn doesn't need her husband. And I remember looking at you like, well, what do you mean? Like, of course I need you, Curtis. But the context is when the person is so confident in who they are, they don't need anybody outside of them to validate them. Or
Mhm.
does that, like, I love myself. And that's one thing I'm very proud of at 39. I can honestly say this, the most I've ever felt in my entire life today, the most confident I've ever felt in my own skin I'm not looking for an approval from anybody outside of me. Do I love receiving love? Of course. It's a human nature thing. Do I love hugs from our kids? And you, of course. But I can stand in my own skin and be proud of the woman I am today, where I can honestly say a year ago at 38, I didn't have that same feeling.
So what shift, what was the thing that, 38, I was talking to you about this the other day, in Joe Dispenza's book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I think that's what it's called. I always butcher the name of that book.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He talks about like the older you get, the harder it is to change. But at 38 years old, so what did it take from you at 38 years old to get you to where you're at now? What clicked?
Last year was a hard Christmas and a hard birthday for me, for not feeling like we had the freedom to say yes to whatever we wanted. And after Christmas, I remember sitting there going, next year's going to be different. Like I just chose in my head, I just said, I will do whatever it takes, that next year is different, that we have the money and we have the freedom to buy our kids whatever they want. Obviously, not making them spoiled little brats, nothing like that, but whatever it is, if that makes sense. Like we took them to the bookstore and we bought them a bunch of books. Like that was awesome. They wanted whatever they wanted. We could say more yeses than we were saying no's. And at that time we were saying a lot of no's. And then my birthday, it was kind of same thing. Like I wasn't clear on what I wanted for my birthday. And it was a very deflating day. And I said, next year will be totally different. And let me share that I blamed money in that moment for both of those situations. So you asked me what shifted. Was the realization that if I want my life to look different, then I get to choose to see it differently. And I would say it's only been consistently 6 months where I got up in the mornings, and it was in the summertime, and I would just go sit outside. And for whatever reason, I mean, we have our gamut of people we listen to, right? Uncle Joe Dispenza, Joel, we call him Uncle Joel Osteen. We have Uncle T. Harv Eker. We have these aunts and uncles that we listen to. And, Joe Dispenza is all about rewire your brain. So I had the aha to just go sit in nature and clear. And this is the point I want everybody to hear, is that I figured out that I got to clear with myself before I could start the day. So I had to be enrolled, I want to say just enrolled in me. Like I had to love up me and be clean with who I am inside to create a new reality in my life. So that looked like sitting in nature in our front yard, looking at the forest for 10 minutes to an hour till my brain was clear. And then that turned
So is that what you mean by clearing with yourself?
Yeah. So that's a great question.
I mean, I see you out there staring out the forest, and sometimes I go out and join you or whatever, but I don't actually know what your process looks like.
Yeah, that's a great question. I have two processes. One is clearing with myself and just sitting in nature. And what do I mean by that is we have a monkey brain, right? We have a million thoughts coming through our mind all the time. So when I would sit there in nature, I would just sit there in silence and just let my thoughts go and notice what negative energy was coming up for me. What are the external blots that were coming up in front of me? And then working through them. Is that true for me? So let's just, trying to even think what a one would be. Can I really achieve this goal? Right? And I would sit there and have a dialogue with myself till I felt confident that no matter what, I could achieve it. But there's two parts of that. That's what I did in the summer. And that really transformed my mindset to know to be calm and grounded before I start my day. And then that transpired into, I don't have it with me. Oh, I do. It's in my backpack. But my journal, where I actually physically write out what are the negative thoughts that are coming up that are blocking me. So I'm actually going to pull it out because I think it's valuable. So I have this notebook that I write down. I actually write it clearing with myself. So, like questioning, can I really build a business? Right? So that's an energy block that was coming up. Can I really build a new business? That's an example of one. If I have that stuck in my head before I even start my day to take the action steps to build a business, I'm already not believing I can do it.
Mm.
So I'm already in disbelief no matter what happens or what action I take. And what I would say, at least about myself or most people, is we have a vision, but then we have this belief that's missing. So it's a missing belief. And then our actions don't match our goal. Do you see that?
And that's why people don't end up, or one of the reasons why people don't end up creating their vision is because there's an underlying belief that they're not addressing.
Mm-hmm. And then they blame money or time. To come full circle, they will go back to, oh, I didn't have the money or I didn't have the time. And it's ultimately not true.
Well, I wonder how much of that is, it's like, because you can tell somebody, I don't have money or I don't have time. And most people will kind of like give you a little bit of sympathy for that.
Exactly.
It like that actually, I mean, especially if you're a single mother with 3 children, like you're going to get all the sympathy in the world with that, you know? And I'm not saying that the struggle or whatever isn't real for someone in that position. But what I am saying is like, it's almost like you've got to be vigilant about who you choose to be around you to make sure that they're not going to buy into your stories. Like having someone like you is like I don't have the option to make up a story like that around you. It just won't. You will not. It will be not be, and vice versa. You know, neither one of us. So I think that, I mean, part of it is like surrounding yourself with people that are going to call you on your bullshit and be like, you know, stop. You're just making up excuses, right?
And
Versus
typically the people that are closest are going to let you off the hook. Go ahead and finish. I just wanted to get that in there.
No, keep going.
No. We have another sighting of Ryan. Come here. Okay. I was saying that the people closest to you will let you off the hook. We both know that.
Right.
Yeah. So to validate your point, absolutely. Like, who are you surrounding yourself with? And number one, are you the person that's calling your partner forward and, hey, let's change? Or are you believing their story? And really looking within. Are you doing it to get approval, to make sure that they like you? Like, why are you doing it? If you disagree, why are you being inauthentic with them? What are you afraid of? But most of the time, people, there's a missing belief. And that's why I say, like, clearing with myself in the morning. Because if I have that belief that I can't create X, Y, and Z, that belief the missing belief will cause me not to create it. I will waste time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will actually waste my day, and then I won't be my word to myself, and then I'll feel like shit about myself. And it's a vicious cycle.
So we started talking about this, like what shifted. So it sounds like that, just that clearing process that you do. I mean, I would imagine you've done it every day for whatever, 6, 7 months, so that you're right. Because what I'm hearing you say is that if you start off the day with the belief that you cannot grow a business, you will continually do things during that day to prove yourself right.
Correct. And it could be another example that, building a business is just one example. Maybe it's like, oh, I'm a shitty mom, right? So then what happens during the day? there's a meltdown with a kid and they're upset at you. So then there's more visual proof for you that you're a shitty mom or a shitty dad. So yeah, the clearing process has been one of the most beautiful gifts that I've received. And I will say the other thing that really shifted within me was just, hey, I am responsible for everything in my life. There's no one outside of me to blame. And I made it, and I'm not perfect by any means. I still fall into my victim. And I'm constantly looking at, what do I get to shift? If one of our kids is acting out, I'm looking at myself going, okay, what is it that's missing from me right now that they need? So it's been a really fun, beautiful ride. Let's say it like that. There's been a lot of tears. There's a lot of letting go of guilt and shame. A lot of tears on my side, and even for you and I to chat every morning, or almost every morning, I should say. And just like the forgiveness part, so many people, are just so mad at themselves for their past. And they live in that past and they're angry, they're mad. This is the other thing I will say, the other huge thing that has transformed from 38 to 39 is truly being connected with my energy. I'm not perfect. I know that. And when I was angry, mad, frustrated, upset, that's what I saw in my life too. It's low vibration. There's lack everywhere. Nothing. I always say this to people. I'm like, money runs from you. If you're angry, mad, or upset, that is like the biggest repellent of money. Money will run the opposite way. Money might come in and it goes out really fast.
Okay,
if you're
I'm going to
angry,
push
mad,
back.
or upset.
I'm going to push back on this.
Oh, cool. Perfect.
Because there's a lot of angry, wealthy, filthy rich people, right? So explain that.
I don't even know. But I'm not sure. Maybe they weren't angry and mad when they first, like maybe they grew up knowing they should make a lot of money, like they're worthy and deserving of money. Or what I know is if someone is in a lack conversation with money, they most likely don't believe that they're worth it. So give me an example of a person so I can like visualize this person. Like who do you know? Like a famous person that in your experience is angry?
Well, I mean, I would say that Donald Trump is a very angry person.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
we don't know him.
I don't sense any real compassion. I mean, this is going to trigger people maybe. I mean, I'm not talking politics. I'm just, my experience of Donald Trump is not someone who's loving or compassionate or peaceful or happy. He seems to be just an angry person to me. He seems to be an unhappy person. He's really, really wealthy.
And he could lose everything and build a business very quickly because he knows he has. So this is awesome because I've never actually had anybody challenge me on this like this. But he already has that belief within him that he can be wealthy. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. He already has the belief, no matter if he goes bankrupt 5 times, he knows that he will make money. Now, talk about a person that has never made much money and didn't grow up with money, and then they're angry, mad, and frustrated. It's harder for them to actually believe that they can make money. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, that's good. And that's good for me to like go and do some research. Let me research some angry people. And I'm curious to know what their upbringing is. But to shift though, the shift that I chose to make and bring into our family was the energy of love, abundance, joy, happiness, right? And those energy vibrations are welcoming of money and welcoming of opportunities. If you're angry and mad, you're not going to see opportunities that fall right in front of yourself, right? And right in front of you that, hey, Susie wants to hire you as a coach, for example, right? And you would be like, why would anybody want to pay me money? Because you just don't see your worth, right? Or if you're enrolled in yourself, and you're like, in the energy of happiness and joy, opportunities come to you all the time.
So what I'm hearing is it's coming back to the belief.
Oh yeah.
Whatever, like you mentioned, Donald Trump, he has a belief that he is going to be rich.
Yeah. And
But
I
he
don't know
might,
his background, but yeah.
he has that belief, and that belief trumps, pardon the pun, but the belief trumps the words or the vision, or it's those beliefs. And Uncle Joe Dispenza, he talks about this stuff a lot, like those, not just our conscious beliefs but our subconscious beliefs that are really running the show, which are so hard to kind of get on top of, because they're just kind of running in the background a lot of times without us knowing.
Yeah. And then we're recreating our future based on our past experiences. So if you subconsciously don't believe that you can make money, or you're worthy and deserving of love or money, either, love and money are interchangeable, really, then you're not going to receive it. You're not going to see it in your lifetime. Like, you won't see it in front of you, or you won't believe it. So it really ultimately comes down to, what do you believe about you? And like, this is the clearing process. If I have a goal, so I want to make, $20,000 per month or more, what is the missing belief? What are the conversations that are coming up around that are telling you can't do it? And what I started doing was actually recreating those thoughts. Cancel, cancel. I've never created more than $20,000. At one point I said that because I had never done that. Cancel, cancel. What is the new belief that I want to hear? And I say it from my soul, like, there's, without any evidence, you can absolutely make 20,000 or more dollars per month, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, the person has to actually let their soul talk to them. And for an analytical person right now, I know you might be like, what are you talking about? I'm talking about connecting in with your heart space and not having to have it all figured out or control the whole thing. It's like we've been talking about lately, like letting God and universe do the work. And we have
You've
the intention.
you've got your next 50 podcasts, all the topics are all in this podcast.
I'm
Love
excited.
and money being the same thing, like,
Mm-hmm.
because they're a lot of your what you're saying, is probably new language for people. Connecting to your heart space, clearing with yourself, all these things. I have a good idea what you're talking about, because we listen and read and have been mentored by a lot of the same people. But I mean, you have a lot of content here to dive into that you can really
Mm,
help people with.
thank you for that. See, I don't even know. It just comes out, you know? Like,
Yeah,
but
like
you,
cancel.
oh yeah. What is
You know what's
cancel
funny
cancel?
about that? You know what's funny about that? You remember where you got that?
Okay. Shoot. Where did I get it?
You got that from our home birthing
Oh yeah.
class
Oh
10
my
years ago or
gosh.
something.
That's
and
awesome.
now you use it for your clearing in the exercise. It's pretty
Oh
fun.
man, I've been saying cancel, cancel then, yes, for 10 years. I mean, if someone tries to tell me how terrible something's gonna be, I'm like, uh-huh, cancel, 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 as they're talking to me.
Well, for a long time you've been listening and learning from people, and you just started kind of coming up with your own um,
Yeah,
kind of system to now you can get to share that with people, because what works for you. You've kept what resonates with you, and um, gotten rid of what doesn't, and now you've got this cool little system that really works for you, and you get to share.
exciting. Yeah, it's exciting. This is very, very exciting. And thank you for being here on my birthday to do my first podcast. And I want to share, I told myself I would do this by my birthday. And so I'm so lit up because I'm being my word. And if you believe in yourself and you're your word to yourself, you can create anything. So we had a lot of reasons why we didn't need to do it tonight, or I could have, hey, let's do it tomorrow. I mean, now I have a baby nursing on me and playing with one nipple and nursing on the other one. Yep. We'll talk about that at another time. We had, you tweaked your back. You could have gone to bed. There was a lot of reasons. What I want people to hear, though, is there was a lot of reasons why I could have just brushed it off, not a big deal. And most importantly, though, is it was about being my word. That if I say I'm going to do something, and I said this like a month ago, so I've had a month, right, to get this. And we filmed a couple, but they weren't great quality. So, and we finally figured out our recording system. And so it's really important to be your word, to build that trust within yourself. And that's another thing that has shifted at 39 is trusting myself. The most I've ever trusted myself is at 39. So all these people that are saying getting old sucks, that's not true in my book. For me, like, I'm just getting started and life is getting better and better every day because I'm choosing to be a student of the game of life and really be aligned with my true soul and my soul's purpose. And that's what feels really good to say at 39.
Boom.
And we're done.
We're done.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, babe. Love you.
You're welcome. I love you too.